Last night, I accused Monday Night Raw of being forgettable. You know what's also forgettable? Apparently, the entire women's division. Not one match last night. Not one match. Dashy Negan points this out. 0 women's matches. Are you having a laugh? Paul Levesque. These are your hot takes for Monday Night Raw, by the way. And then we have Hanko say, so, where were the women? Yeah, where were they? We had 2 hours and 15 minutes. The second shortest Raw since coming to Netflix, and not one women's match. We couldn't have bumped up to 2 hours and 25 minutes. I mean, as far as I know, there's no hard out. The previous week was 2 hours and 40 minutes. Where was the women here? I mean, you had plenty of time to show us multiple video packages of Saturday night's main event, or specifically Jalen Bronson and Roman Reigns holding up the NBA championship. So I don't know, why couldn't we find a minute or two to shine some spotlight on the women's division? Maxine Dupree, she was on the show, but she's more involved in a men's storyline, so I'm not really counting her as the women's division. You did have Liv Morgan and Io Sky kind of get into it, but they were also just part of the larger story of Danhausen and the Judgment Day. Totally neglected last night. And you want to know what probably is the most egregious, the most offensive thing about them not being on the show last night? The fact that we just ignored Lyra Valkyria. We have spent many months, dare I say years, trying to get her over on the main roster. And on Saturday night's main event, she was a bloody mess. We wrote Bayley off TV for at least a couple months, if not forever, and we used Lyra to do that. I said on my Saturday night main event review is that, please, WWE, don't do that thing where you wait 2 or 3 weeks before you show us Lyra again because we're anticipating what she's going to say. No, she needed to come out tonight. She needed to come out tonight and build on that momentum. It's all about momentum. We didn't capitalize on the fact that she was bleeding everywhere, and yet she continued her match. After WrestleMania 13, when Stone Cold Steve Austin was a bloody mess, we didn't have him not show up for 2 weeks. All right, I know, Lyra and Stone Cold Steve Austin, they're not the same, but the concept is the same. When you have somebody have a star-making performance, you don't pull back. You push. Even if there were no plans for Lyra after Saturday night's main event, you make some plans instantly. Now, I guess there were 3 women promos in the non-United States segments. When the United States goes to a commercial, sometimes they'll do a Netflix interview with some stars. I guess that's where all the women were. And honestly, that's just not cool. That's just not cool. You might as well not even be on the show if that's where you're regulated to. That's where the New Day and Grayson Waller were having all their banger promos for the longest time before, well, we all know what happened. And here's a crazier thought. What if we just came up with something? What if we took someone who wasn't doing nothing, or 2 people who weren't doing anything, and just, I don't know, created a story? Like, literally, have Jordynne Grace and Ivy Nile, they march to the ring, and they say, we're not leaving. We've got no airtime. No one's giving us airtime, so we're going to make our own airtime. We are not leaving till we get competition. Have Adam Pearce, he comes out, he says, that's not how we do business. And they're like, yeah, well, that's how we do business now. And Adam Pearce, he's like, I don't know, he sends the security after them. And they're like, fine, whatever, we'll leave. And then later in the night, they are in catering and they are power bombing just random women wrestlers. I don't care if it's NXT wrestlers or just Jessica Carr even. Just they're power bombing people through tables. That's it. And they're like, next week, you better have competition for us. Just do something. Create something. Have Lyra go out. She's bragging about retiring Bayley. Have a match. Sol Ruca. She could be having her match against Raquel Rodriguez even though I don't know why they're having a rematch. That could just be tonight instead of next week. There's just opportunity. Hashtag give divas a chance. Hashtag don't say you care when your actions say otherwise. All right, so now let's do some more hot takes after I tell you how to win this championship on my shoulder. You see, I'm giving it away at 30,000 subscribers on my quest to quit my day job. That's right, people. I hate my day job and would love to do YouTube full-time. Please help me out, and in return, you can win. All you got to do to win, comment below and subscribe to the channel. I'll give it away. I've given away 3 belts so far. Actually, 2 went to Illinois, 1 went to Australia, so anywhere in the world, I'll ship it for free. You can win. It's not a toy. It's a replica, and it can be yours. Errol Noir says they can't take the AAA title off Dom soon enough. His booking in 2026 has been the absolute pits. I agree. I absolutely agree. I do not like the AAA title, the mega title, the top championship of a different promotion, and being regulated to a jobber at this point. When was the last time Dominic Mysterio won? Was it literally when he beat John Cena? That's a serious question. I have no idea when the last time he actually won. No, I guess it was a fatal 4-way, right? Because then he went and he fought Obafemi. Obafemi squashed him even. And I remember saying, I don't like the mega champion losing. Just don't have the mega champion in that position. And then everybody came at me and was like, well, Obafemi had to beat him. And I'm like, you're not listening to me. I didn't say I don't want Dominic losing to Obafemi. I'm saying I don't want the AAA champion losing to Obafemi. Just get the belt off of Dominic Mysterio. If we're going to make him a jobber, then get the belt off him so he can job. And then the AAA championship can be strong in AAA. That said, I don't like us jobbing him out as much as we do. I get it. He can take the losses, but this is the closest we're going to get to Eddie Guerrero. Is he as good as he is in the ring? No. But we could have a lie, cheat, steal character? That is so hard to do, and Dominic was doing it great, so I don't understand why we do job the guy out, but at the very least, can we take the AAA title off him? Ryan Ludwig says, I'm not sure what gave me less faith in how WWE is treating their younger talent. Braun Breaker getting beaten up by Otis, or Dom jobbing out to Joe Hendry and Danhausen. I mean, technically Joe Hendry and Danhausen are kind of the next generation as well, but I do get what you're saying, especially Braun Breaker. I'm happy for Otis. I'm happy that Otis is getting a push, but let's be honest, Otis, he mopped the floor with Braun Breaker. The only reason Braun was able to eventually overcome the threat of Otis was the numbers game. How is Braun Breaker getting owned by Otis? I want to stop being a Braun Breaker fan because it hurts too much to have to just watch his descent. But, like, I can't help it. I like the guy. But it's just like, I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't even enjoy the Maxine Dupree angle with Otis because all I can focus on is that sad puppy, Braun Breaker, in the corner over there. Super happy for Maxine and Theory and Otis for getting airtime. But, like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. That guy almost won the Rumble. That guy almost won the Rumble, and now look at him. Adam Perez says he will betray Brock Lesnar again. I'm assuming you're talking Paul Heyman, and honestly, I hope he does betray. I hope he does betray Brock Lesnar. I hope, oh God, this would be awesome. People will hate me for saying this, but I would love if Paul Heyman took Obafemi under his wing. The squash machine Obafemi as a babyface does not work for me. It just doesn't. I don't think babyfaces should be unstoppable. However, if they were to take that same exact Obafemi and made him a heel, well, then I'm all in. He can squash everybody because then he truly is a mountain that nobody can climb. So I wouldn't mind if Paul Heyman betrayed Brock Lesnar. Go for it, please. Jimbo Slice says Danhausen is being overexposed. He used to be my favorite part of the show, and now I find myself rolling my eyes more often. I don't care about the Judgment Day money. Mr. Pete says way too much Danhausen and Judgment Day. So yeah, I'm starting to see more and more of people not buying into Danhausen or maybe cashing out a little bit. It's not that we don't want Danhausen, because, like, I enjoyed his Saturday Night's Main Event match even, and his Backlash match. So, like, Danhausen is good. Hear me out. But there have been certain things that have not been good, like Zombie Miz and Zombie Kit Wilson. I dare you to zombify the Miz under Vince McMahon's creative. He would have been crapped on all day long. But now it's happening right now. It's like, oh, it's the most brilliant stuff ever. It's goofy wrestling. And I love goofy wrestling. Well, I like goofy wrestling. There's a fine line. And I was okay with the cat stuff at Saturday Night's Main Event, but I'm not okay with zombifying some people. And I think they need to just pull it back just a little bit with Danhausen. He was all over the show tonight. I don't even mind if tonight's episode was the Danhausen show, but I don't think we should make everything about Danhausen. Why does this dude get to go on every show? Why is he on Raw? Why is he on SmackDown? But Gunther has to negotiate to get to SmackDown. That CM Punk has to negotiate to get to SmackDown. Don't you think those two should be allowed to go wherever they want? I mean, the Bloodline do it too. It's not just Danhausen, but I'm just saying, it's like, maybe there can be too much of a good thing, unless it's bacon. Bacon all day long. Danhausen's great. He's been a joy to watch, but I do agree that let's just pull it back just a smidge. And you know what sucks? WWE is probably not going to pull back. In fact, they're going to push harder. And then when more and more fans start to reject it, then they are going to have a backlash and say that we're the problem. Kicking it with Leo says, Javon continues to be disrespected. Been on the main roster for 6 months and hasn't had one storyline. Last week, Javon put on Instagram that he's tired of losing, and honestly, he's right, because he should be winning at this point. WWE needs to turn him heel and have him win the Intercontinental title. The fact that he hasn't had one storyline does pretty much suck. I think last week, I actually said, you need to do better, WWE, and everybody came at me and was like, not everybody needs a championship. And I was like, did you even watch my video? I said we can't use his age as an excuse not to give him a title. But what I was actually upset about was the fact that he has not been given a storyline, that he does not have a match on SummerSlam. The title thing, yes, I want him to win the title, but I'm not saying he needs to win a title right this second. But I am saying that after 6 months on the main roster, he should have at least a storyline under his belt, someone to feud with. Six Underground says, did they do anything to make SummerSlam more exciting, more appealing? I don't think so. It didn't even feel like a filler episode. It felt empty. You know what they did? There was a SummerSlam like kickoff show, which I don't know why it's 2 weeks before SummerSlam, but they did a bunch of angles on that, and that was Sunday. And then, Saturday Night's Main Event actually had a bunch of angles as well. Like, big, huge stuff for Lyra Valkyria. And the kickoff show had big, huge stuff for SummerSlam. They're doing all these exciting SummerSlam stuff, like, not on Raw or SmackDown anymore. They're doing them in internet exclusive where you have Cody Rhodes and CM Punk going at it, where the cameras aren't supposed to be there, so it can be shared all over social media. But on the actual main proper Raw and SmackDown, the shows that are supposed to get us hyped, they aren't really doing anything to hype us up for these events. They're doing it on all these random shows. I Love AEW Wrestling says, I feel sorry for Jacob Fatu because WWE has ruined his character for me because he went down with one super kick from Seth. He was a total B-word. Yeah, this Jacob Fatu, honestly, he does kind of feel neutered. Hey, oh man, it sucks. It sucks because, like, after WrestleMania, that was like him attacking Roman. That was perfect. I didn't even mind him joining the Bloodline when Roman was showing up all the time because it felt like Jacob was barely under control. Yes, he acknowledged Roman, but you felt like at any moment he could just snap. But because Roman is not around, Jacob just has to be so subdued. It's like if we can't have unhinged Jacob because Roman just can't be around, then set him loose. Set him loose. Have Roman just say, you know what? Run free. Run free over SmackDown. down. Go destroy everything, you know? Tracy Woods, she said she looked into the promo code for the SummerSlam tickets. If you put JETS, you're supposed to get them for $25. On Sunday night, the cheapest ticket with the code is $76.10. With only specific areas available for that price, the code says it's invalid if you try to use it for both days. I guess you could use it for separate days by, separate tickets, but yeah, so there you go. Information. Russell Don says, so up until now, I thought the people were a bit extreme for saying that they were wasting Dom, but seeing him get beat up twice in one night after getting beat up at Saturday Night's Main Event, even as AAA champion, shows that creative is just straight up careless and out of touch with his booking. I still don't understand how we dropped the ball with Dominic Mysterio. Yes, he's still getting airtime. I'm so tired of that excuse. Oh, well, at least he's getting airtime. No. After WrestleMania 41, the guy was prime to go to that next level when he won the championship from Braun Breaker in a fatal four-way, and we just cooled him down. We just cooled him down so much. He was John Cena's last actual storyline. The guy should be higher on the card right now. And just because his character can survive that doesn't mean we reward him by the bare minimum of, hey, at least your character could survive. No, what if we took that as imagine what we could do with this guy if he can survive anything. Imagine if we actually push this guy to the moon. What level of stardom would he be then? Jose says, overall good show. It was missing Roman though. It was. Roman comes back next week, but God, I hope there's an actual story and not just a promo face-off between Seth and Roman, rehashing their past. It's OTW. Nah, they stiffied Dom's momentum. Yeah, they are. TTJC, I'm not a fan of what's going on with the Judgment Day. I get it. Logan got injured, and now they got to pivot to Joe's story, but it feels like it's a detriment of Dom. Yeah, that's actually, how did Joe Hendry even get involved in this? Why is he suddenly teaming with Danhausen? Killer Wolf says, I like that Solo wants to be the Shield to Seth, but it makes no sense since the Bloodline haven't and probably won't do anything as Roman needs to do it alone. Now, I did go into this more so yesterday on my one take, one shot review, but you're right. This version of Roman has not used the Bloodline to win any matches. They did beat up CM Punk one time, but let's be fair, CM Punk himself said that he went a little too far with the things that he was saying, and the only other time he used them was when Jacob Fatu just kept going crazy. In fact, when it comes to Seth and Roman, Seth Rollins has been the only one that went and got outside help, because at Saturday Night's Main Event, he actually went and got Tyrese Halliburton to help him distract Roman, and then the only reason why Roman got help was from Jalen Bronson when he stepped in front of Seth. But Roman has asked for no help. He has given no orders. Therefore, Seth is the one who has used the numbers advantage technically in their feud thus far. So yes, Solo saying this makes no sense whatsoever. Ron Talks Tabletop says, this Raw was a wrestling show, and that's the best thing I can say about it. Yeah, it was. It had some wrestling on it, that's for sure. The Argyle Protocol, love that name by the way, for the love of God, please let LA Knight and Bayley leave if you aren't going to use them correctly. AEW will gladly take them. Well, you might get your wish with Bayley. When it comes to LA Knight, though, I don't know. Will Tony Khan want LA Knight? I thought Karrion Kross was a sure thing to go to AEW, but I don't know. He wasn't used. Maybe Tony Khan. I don't know. Would Tony Khan want LA Knight? And that's not a knock on LA Knight. Tony Khan just might have all of his plans. Tony Khan is a long-term booker. He might literally have all of his plans done for the next 3 or 4 years. And I don't know. Would he? Would you? AEW fanboys out there. Would you? Sickos. I mean, sickos. You're sickos. Would you want LA Knight going to AEW? Be respectful. Be nice when you answer, please. Carmichael says, WWE is masterful at cooling off superstars who should be heating up. They've done it to Braun, Jacob, Trick, Carmelo, Gable, Sol Ruca, and they're about to do it to Lyra. Let's throw Javon Evans and Dominic Mysterio on that list too. Ethan Page, how about him as well? Jordynne Grace, anyone? Oh, Julia? Yeah, Carmichael, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And then they wonder why the product is so cold. It's because they're not creating new stars. I'm not saying we got to put Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk out to pasture, but I am saying that these guys and gals on your list, yeah, they should be red hot right now, and they are not. All right, boys. All right, girls. See you, bye.